y'all, it's Hope at Crafty Hope and welcome. I am here with 3 more of my mini assemblages that I'm doing for the 100-day project. I'm sharing these kind of randomly. This week I'm showing y'all numbers 65, 70, and 71. Basically, I'm picking out the ones that more people liked on Instagram. So if there's one that you like on Instagram and want to see, make sure you tell me you want to see a video within the first couple days of me sharing it. Otherwise, I just go by what the numbers are. Now, I'm only sharing these because a friend of mine mentioned that maybe I should share them, and so that's what I'm doing. They're all fairly simple. This bout of 3, you can see this video is not very long, so these go through pretty quickly. I've kind of worked out a formula of things that I pull out for the most part, and I do that. So this one I started with a piece of canvas drop cloth and a part of some jeans. I think it may be like the pull for like the belt loop maybe from a pair of jeans. I'm not sure. It fell on the floor in my office and I was like, okay, I'm going to use that. And then I pulled out a piece of some paper from an ephemera haul that I got. And I inked up the edges of that, and now I'm kind of trimming things down. I had that Scrabble piece out and kept trying to pull it in, but it is not going to get worked into this. I was struggling, but you could see that like as I work with these, I pull little bits of things in and out and try to, I don't know, I audition quite a bit. Now, the other side of that canvas drop cloth has some marks on it, but I decided I preferred, it was too busy with all those dark marks on it. So I just wanted the non-busy, regular canvas drop cloth side. It took me a while to get it trimmed down just the way I wanted. I really wanted all that fraying on there. And there is where I stepped away from the camera because that Scrabble piece just was not working for me. And I grabbed that rusty washer from my stash and was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Now you can see I pulled out that piece of paper I had inked up. I'm trying a couple other things. Y'all, look at how they spelled silence. Oh, in this old book, it cracked me up. This is from an old book that I think I got it for free outside of a local used bookstore because it was fairly damaged. So the pages are very brittle and old and weirdly thick and all of that. And I decided I wanted that instead of that other piece that I had inked the edges on. And I think it had something to do with that rusty washer, that this aged paper is like a little bit closer to the color and brings that color of that rusty washer kind of back around. I'm using Fabri-Tac to stick my paper to that book page, that canvas to the book page, and I'll do the same thing with this little bit of denim. And then I think I use my E6000 to stick the rusty washer to the denim because that denim is fairly, not the denim, the washer is heavy and I want something a little sturdier to hold it on there. And I'm using my big one instead of my little ones. I had to break out the big old pliers to get that off because sometimes they glue themselves to those caps, get glued to there. Now I weighed that down here with this, I don't even know what it is, for a little bit and then came back. And I knew I wanted to add some stitches to it, but because that paper is so brittle, I am going to grab some masking tape and tape up the back of this paper so that it doesn't basically just break away on me. And this is some thicker masking tape, but if you have like thinner stuff, just put down several layers of it. Okay, so now I've got this, what color would you call that? I don't even know what that is, but I pulled that out, put it on a needle, and tied a knot in the end. I'm trying to make sure everything's sturdy on there, and I'm going to look at it for a while, mess around with it, and then I decide where I want that golden yellowy, it's a brownie gold, I don't know what you'd call that color. I really wanted it in the center there to give a pop of something right in the middle. And it's going to be a little off-centered, and that's fine. And I was considering other options, you know, going over the washer or making a plus sign, and I finally just decided to do a little bit of an X. Now, because that denim and the canvas and all of the layers I have there are pretty thick, I'm having to push the back of the needle on my desk to get it through all of that. See, even there where I punched my hole, I had to do it. So use what you've got, people. If it's too hard, do what I do. So I'm gonna look at this again for a little bit and decide I need to bring that color out to the sides a little bit, and instead of doing the French knots I would normally do, I knew that would be really hard on this because of the layers and all of that. I am just going to do some lines off to the side. So the first one on either side is going to be about the height of that denim piece, and then I kind of work it smaller on either side. And somewhere I think on the other side I start to realize that this was not completely centered, but y'all, I'm okay with that. These are just little assemblages that I think will either be framed or wind up in larger pieces. Like, I think I will pull several of these together to make a large piece. At least that's the idea right now. If you have other ideas of what I can do with these, for me, it's about playing with the materials a little bit and using some of the things I have in my stash, because I have so much in my stash. So bringing in these washers that I don't know what else I'm going to do with, or these little bits of fabric, because it can't all be junk journal pages. So some of these I have framed, but I have this idea of putting some of these in like little boxes and stacking those all together. I just have to find the right boxes right now. All right, so I'm going to tie this off real quick. And that is going to be it for this one. Like I said, this one was number 65, and we'll skip ahead to number 70. So there's quite a few in there that I'm not showing you. If you want to see them, please go to YouTube. Not YouTube. Oh my gosh, go to Instagram. So this is going to be number 70 of the 100-Day Project. You can see I've got another piece of some kind of book page. I'm inking the edges with probably walnut stained distress ink. Didn't really show up very good, did it? I probably need to put some more ink on that topper. And again, I'm auditioning things, trying different things out that are in my stash, off in a little container off to the side. And I think this one, y'all, is super quick and really not much to it. But I wanted to show you that it doesn't, if you're going to make some art, if you've got fiddly hands and just need to make something, you don't have to pull in everything you own. You don't have to, it can be just a couple pieces of paper and a little strip of fabric. And so, yeah. So you can see that next thing, that was a magazine page that had some neat typewriting on it, super thin. And then that's a piece of some rusty fabric. And here's a washer I found in a parking lot the other day. I walked a storage building, like a parking lot, one day while my husband was helping his brother with something, and I found all kinds of rusty bits of wire and washers and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna make art out of anything. So that back page, I felt like I needed some darkness somewhere on this little assemblage. So using a Stabilo all pencil and just a wet paintbrush, I wet that and splattered it and then dried it. So I've got the darkness that I want on that back layer. And yeah, here's my little stack of 2 pieces of paper, a strip of fabric, and a washer. Yeah, not that crazy. It's a lot like the last one, y'all. These are, like I said, I've got almost a formula to this. And again, I'm using my Fabri-Tac to glue these pieces down, and then I'll probably pull in my E6000 there to glue the washer down, much like the last one. These are, yeah, I've got a thing for just using kind of the same things, even, and it all turns out just a little bit different. And I keep trying to remind myself that it's okay to use the same materials, because nothing's going to look exactly the same. With this kind of art, it's really hard to duplicate it exactly. So, yeah. So I guess I had a bit of red thread already on a needle off to the side, and I'm gonna bring that in. And y'all, I think I was in a rush this day. Like, I needed to do this project super quick, and so I was really just using what was nearby and close. So I'm going to make it look like this washer is stitched onto this little stack, even though I've got it glued down. The stitching is definitely just a little bit of an accent here. And I can't remember if I put 4 or 5. I think I ended up doing 5 because I thought I was going to do 4, but I realized that they were kind of wonky, not like evenly spaced. And if it's going to be even, I want it evenly spaced. So I was like, well, then we'll make it odd. And yeah. So I've got 5 stitches there. I will tie this off on the back, and this one is done. Super easy peasy. I just, like I said, I was in a rush that day. I don't even remember what we were doing. This is probably maybe during some of our vacation time. So, I will put some masking tape on the back of this just to secure it because that paper is kind of, thin and could break apart. Okay, I'm going to give you some pictures of this one, and we will get to the next one. This last one I'm sharing with y'all today is number 71, and y'all, I'm so surprised how many people like this one. It was another day I was in a rush. I was just pulling out things. I found a rusty bottle cap and a couple of rusty safety pins on a shelf and was like, oh, I'll do that. But then I was like, oh, but I want more rusty safety pins. So I got my little bucket out. And this piece of, it is a flour sack towel from the Dollar Tree that's got like paint and inks and who knows what on it. It had been sitting near my desk and I had been using it to wipe things up. And I just tore that down. So I'm taking that flattened rusty bottle cap, probably found in a parking lot. And I've got a mother of pearl button there, and I already had an idea to kind of put some of these rusty safety pins behind that bottle cap. Now I'm sharing this one. A ton of people like this one, and it was so easy to pull together, probably even easier than the other two, but I don't know, it just fell together. And sometimes I guess some of the best things do that. They just come together. And here I'm trying to basically figure out what section of that flour sack towel I wanted to use and how much of it I wanted to use. So I think I'm gonna pull out another piece of some of that ephemera and tear it down a bit more and layer things. And I'm just, playing around, trying to figure out what I need in my life. Here's y'all, I don't even know what that is. It's maybe either a foreign language book or dictionary text or something. And you can see how brittle that piece was. So here comes the walnut stain distress ink again. And see, I'm using the same materials over and over again in all 3 of these, which really cracked me up for this one because, I've got something rusty, I've got some paper, I've got some fabric, and then some glues. And I'm just going to layer them all together. So I'm backing this one with this piece of super thin flour sack towel. It will probably get something more substantial on the back of it if I decide to frame it. For now, it's see-through, it's weird, but it's, it's going to work. And again, I'm laying things out, making sure it's what I want. And it's, again, I was in a rush this day and was like, I think we were going to get in the pool. I think that's what it was. And I was like, I've got to get this done so I can go get in the pool. All right, so here comes the Fabri-Tac, and I'm putting it on that piece of paper straight on to my flour sack towel. And you'll see me lift this flour sack towel because that Fabri-Tac will go straight through that towel and glue to the tabletop. So I have to be careful. I don't glue stuff to the tabletop. So I'm going to put my E6000 straight on to my bottle cap there and then stick the safety pins in that the where I want them. So you can see that this is how I'm gluing it. I'm basically gluing the safety pins to the bottle cap, and then I'll glue the bottle cap to that paper there. So, and I had forgotten I had that little strip of paper I wanted to also add. So I'll have to like remember that here in a second. So I added more more E6000 to the bottom of that bottle cap. Again, because it's the metal piece, I want the sturdier stuff. And I started to stick it down and was like, wait, I had something else. So there's that little strip of other paper. I'm going to use Oohoo glue stick to stick that down. And then I will stick down my little stack of safety pins and rusty bottle cap and get everything just how I want it. And while it is kind of gluing, I need to do something with that button that I want to put in the center. So I've got another piece of embroidery floss on a needle on my desk, and I'm going through the front and the back and then the front, and yeah, basically I go through it twice, and then I will tie a double knot so that the whole knot is on the front of this button, so it looks almost like the button is sewn to the bottle cap. That's my whole idea, but it's not going to be because I'll use my E6000 again to glue it down. So I did trim that embroidery floss and fray the ends a little bit, and then I'm going to glue that down. And y'all, this is it. It was so simple and it's super cute. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and let me know if you go look on Instagram if there's any others you'd like to see. I would love to know. I think yeah, somewhere around 76 I think I'll be sharing, but I can't remember. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye.